Hey, what's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and today doing a Dark Magician deck profile. So I'm really excited to do this one for you guys because this deck is an extremely nostalgic deck based from the ultimate wizard in terms of attack and defense, the Dark Magician. So without further ado guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell in there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards. Like getting your name scratched in every single video, getting a signed cards in the mail, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month you're a patron. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're going to be playing 2 copies of the Dark Magician. This card is an amazing 2 of in the build. You don't need 3 copies of this card because it's so easy to get to in this deck. And we have a lot of spells and traps that make it ridiculously easy to get this card out on our side of the field. This card is an amazing old school boss monster and a really cool card to base a deck around. We then play a single copy of the Dark Magician Girl. Dark Magician Girl is definitely a 1 of in the deck as a combo piece to be able to use with all our awesome spell cards. We then play a single copy of Apprentice Illusion Magician. Apprentice Illusion Magician is really good in this deck because it's easy to summon out to your side of the field, and it even searches out the Dark Magician when this card is normal or special summon. This card also functions like a hand trap, which is really cool about this card because during damage calculation, if your other Dark Spellcaster monster battles an opponent's monster, quick effect, you can send this card from your hand or face up from your field to the graveyard, and that monster you control gains 2,000 attack and defense points during damage calculation only, which will boost our copy of Dark Magician up to 4,500, matching a Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. We then play a single copy of Timaeus the United Dragon. Timaeus is really good because this card is basically walking polymerization to help us go in for a bunch of different fusion plays in this deck. We then play 3 copies of Magician's Rod. This card is the best normal summon in the entire deck, because this card has the ability that when this card is normal summon, you can add a spell or trap card from your deck to your hand that specifically lists the card Dark Magician in its text, which we have a lot of spells and traps you can search off this card's ability. We then play 3 copies of Magician Souls. Magician Souls is such a powerful card in the deck. It's probably the best card in the entire build, as this card has the ability that you can send up to 2 spells and traps from your hand or field to the graveyard and then draw that many cards, which is amazing to help you dig into the deck. It also has the ability if this card's in your hand, you can send a level 6 or higher spellcaster monster from your deck to the graveyard to activate one of these effects. Either special summon this card, or send it to the graveyard to special summon that Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl from your grave, which is amazing to instantly get them out on your side of the field, or use this card as a draw engine, which is just amazing. We then play 2 copies of Illusion of Chaos. Illusion of Chaos is really good in the deck because this card helps us search out our copies of Magician's Rod or Magician's Souls, which is just really powerful. We then play 2 copies of Diabellstar, the Black Witch. Diabellstar is really good in this deck because this card has the ability that you can special summon this card from your hand by sending 1 card from your hand or field to the graveyard. And it also has the ability that if this card is normally special summoned, you can set a Sinful Spool spell or trap directly from your deck to your side of the field. And during your opponent's turn, if this card is sent from the owner's hand or field to the graveyard, you can actually send 1 card from your hand or field to the graveyard, and if you do, special summon this card, which is an amazing ability because we play a lot of cards you can actually set with this card's ability, but this card is just a really awesome boss monster to play in the deck. We then also play 3 copies of Ash Blossom. Ash Blossom's a definite 3 of in the build just to make your opponent not touch the deck. This card is really good as a 3 of in the deck. It is overall a fantastic hand trap. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get in to the spells. So for the spells, we're going to start with a single copy of Called by the Grave. Called by the Grave is really good as a 1 of in the deck, just to stop your opponent from hand trapping you while you're going in for all of your plays. We then play a single copy of Sinful Spools of Doom. This card works extremely well with our copy of Diabellstar, but also works with our copies of Dark Magician, because it has the ability to let you target a level 7 or higher spellcaster monster you control and apply the following effects. That while face up, that monster is unaffected by other monster effects this turn and is sent to the graveyard during the standby phase of the next turn, and all monsters your opponent currently control lose attack equal to the targeted monster's attack. Then, if their attack becomes 0 by this effect, destroy them, which is a crazy powerful effect to be able to use with this card, especially since you can get to this card with your copy of Diabellstar. We then play a single copy of Magician's Salvation. Magician's Salvation is really good as a 1-up, as when this card is activated, you can set Eternal Soul directly from your deck to your side of the field, and if you normal or special summon Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl, you can target one of those monsters and then special summon Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl from your graveyard with a different name as that monster, which is great because if you summon out one, you get the other one on your side of the field, guaranteeing you 2 boss monsters on your side of the field. We then play 2 copies of Secrets of Dark Magic. Secrets of Dark Magic is definitely a 2-of in the build because this card helps out so much in the deck to help you fusion summon into really powerful boss monsters like the Dark Magicians. We then play 2 copies of Dark Magical Circle. Dark Magical Circle is a great consistency card and also helps you banish cards off the field when Dark Magician is summoned to your side of the field. This card has the ability when it's activated, you look at the top 3 cards of your deck, then reveal a Dark Magician or any spell or trap that lists Dark Magician among them and add it to your hand, and also place the rest on top of your deck in any order. And if Dark Magician is normally special summoned to your field, then you can actually target a card to your opponent's side of the field and banish it, which is a really insane effect to be able to spot remove cards off the field when you summon out the Dark Magician. We then play 3 copies of Preparation of Rites. This card is basically Rhoda for your copy of Illusion of Chaos, which is why we play this card as a 3-of in the build, to be able to get to our copy of Illusion of Chaos. And if you do draw into too many of this card, you can use it with your copy of Magician's Souls to be able to send it to the graveyard to be able to draw an additional card, which is why I play 3 of this and not 3 copies of Illusion of Chaos, because you can always use this card with your copy of Magician's Souls to be able to draw additional cards. We then play 3 copies of Soul Servant. Soul Servant is definitely a 3-of in the build because it lets you place 1 card on top of your deck from your hand, deck, or graveyard that is Dark Magician or a specific list Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl in its text, except another copy of Soul Servant. And during your main phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard and draw cards equal to the number of Paladinian monsters Dark Magician and or Dark Magician Girl with different names on the field and in the graveyard, meaning you're usually going to get a draw 2 off this card's ability. And it combines extremely well with your copy of Dark Magical Circle because you can combine those 2 cards together to get the exact card that you need, activating your copy of Dark Magical Circle first and then chaining Soul Servant to put the exact card you want on top of your deck to reveal with your copy of Dark Magical Circle while also seeing what you're going to draw off of Soul Servant's ability. We then play 3 copies of Wanted Seeker of Sinful Spools. This card is basically Rhoda for your copy of Diabellstar, letting you add a Diabellstar monster from your deck or graveyard to your hand, and during your main phase, you can banish this card from your graveyard and then target one of your Sinful Spools spells or traps that's banished or in your graveyard, accept another copy of this card and place it on the bottom of the deck, then draw a card. Meaning it's just going to help you out with the consistency of lot to help you get to your copy of Diabellstar while also recycling those spells and traps that you can get to so you can use them again. So, that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. So for the traps, we're going to start with a single copy of Sinful Spools of Betrayal. This card is great as a 1-up to be able to use with our copy of Diabellstar. It lets us send a Diabellstar monster from our hand or face up from field to the graveyard, then target a face-up card on the field and negate its effects. And when your opponent activates a card effect in response to your Diabellstar monster effect or your Sinful Spools spell or trap card or effect activation, you can banish this card from your graveyard and negate the effect of that effect, which is such a cool ability to be able to use with this card. This card is definitely a 1-of in the build. We then play 2 copies of Eternal Soul. Eternal Soul is great in this deck as a 2-of because you can basically play this card as a 3-of in the build because you're playing Magician's Salvation to be able to set this card to your side of the field. And every Dark Magician in your monster zone is unaffected by your opponent's card effects, and if this face-up card leaves the field, destroy all monsters that you control. And this card has the ability that you can special summon Dark Magician from your hand or graveyard once per turn, which is a really cool ability to constantly be bringing out Dark Magician to your side of the field. We then play 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence. Infinite Impermanence is really good as a 3-of in the build to basically just use this card to be able to use it as a monster negate and also lock down entire columns of spells and traps. It really helps to be able to use their copy of Ash Blossom to basically have a hand trap in any situation. So that's it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to start off with a single copy of the Dark Magicians. The Dark Magicians is really good as a one-of in the build because it requires a Dark Magician or Dark Magician Girl plus any spellcaster to make this card, making it really generic to make this card. And also has the ability once per turn, if a spell or trap card effect is activated, then you can draw a card. Then if it's a spell or trap card, then you can set it to your side of the field, and if it's a trap or a quick play spell, you can activate it the same turn it was set. And if this card is destroyed, you can special summon both Dark Magician and Dark Magician Girl from your hand, deck, or graveyard, which is amazing to instantly get both those monsters back on your side of the field, basically defusing this card. We then play a single copy of Dark Magician, the Dragon Knight. This card is great in the deck as a one-of because it protects your back row, which is amazing because your opponent cannot target spells and traps you control with card effects. Also, they cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects either, and this card's name actually becomes Dark Magician while on the field or in the graveyard, meaning you can bring it back with your copy of your Eternal Soul. We then play a single copy of Master of Chaos. This card is just a really awesome boss monster that's really easy to summon to your side of the field, and is a really cool card. We then play a single copy of Red Eye's Dark Dragoon. Red Eye's Dark Dragoon is one of my favorite cards in the entire game because this card is just so cool to be able to summon out to your side of the field. It cannot be destroyed by card effects, and neither player can target the card effects, and also you can destroy a monster your opponent controls, and if you do inflict damage to your opponent equal that monster's original attack, and you use that ability based on the number of vanilla monsters you put in this card, but you're always summoning this card with Timaeus and your copy of Dark Magician, meaning you're only going to get a pop 1, and it's a walking negate by discarding a card, and it goes up by 1,000 if it does negate. This card does it all and is a really awesome boss monster to be able to play in this deck. We can play a single copy of Access Code. Access Code's really good to be able to pop cards on the field, and it's just a massive boss monster to be able to make in the deck. We then play a single copy of Blackluster Soldier, Soldier of Chaos. It's very easy to put level 7s on your side of the field. So this card is really good because if you link summon this card using level 7 or higher monsters and material, your opponent cannot target it with card effects. Also, it cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects either. And when this card destroys a monster by battle, you can activate one of these 3 effects that either gains 15 under attack, can make a second attack during the following battle phase of the next turn, or banish a card off the field non-targeting. We then play a single copy of Nightmare Unicorn to spin stuff, one copy of Selene because we are playing a spellcaster type deck, so it's very easy to link climb in this build, one copy of the Dark Charmer. Dark Charmer is just really good in the deck overall because we are playing a dark deck, so we can basically link climb into our copy of Selene using this card, one copy of SP Little Knight. This card is a double interruption and is amazing. You can play Nightmare Phoenix if you want to instead of this card for a more budget option, but it's still really good in the deck overall to be able to make because it is a double interruption. We then play a single copy of IP Masquerena. IP is really good in the deck to be able to make your copy of SP Little Knight or your copy of Nightmare Unicorn during the opponent's turn. One copy of Cross Sheep. I really like this card in the build because we do fusion summon a lot in this deck, so you can easily use its ability to bring back a level 4 or lower monster from your graveyard to your side of the field, so you can climb into a copy of Selene and an Access Code, which is just amazing. We then play a single copy of Artemis. Artemis is really good to be able to link away your copy of your Magician's Rod when you summon it to your side of the field, which is really cool. One copy of Imduk. Imduk is amazing in the deck overall because this card is just really good at turning your copy of Dark Magician into a monster or into an effect monster, which is really good to be able to just turn it into a dragon, so you can fusion summon away one of your cards to step into your copy of Dragoon because it does require a dragon monster to make it. And then finally a single copy of Link Kuriboh. Link Kuriboh is really good in the deck as a one-up because we do play level 1s in the build. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you did enjoy it. This deck is super fun to be able to play. If you guys have never played Dark Magicians before, you should definitely give this deck a try. It's super fun. I absolutely love this deck because it's crazy powerful and it's just a really cool deck overall, especially with the Diabellstar package in the deck. It just takes this deck to the next level. So that's going to do it for this one, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell in there so you can become part of our notification squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.